Meghan Markle here.
You could pause and read some of those comments here. That tweet alone needs to be. Oh, there's the video that I say I'm gonna add. I almost forgot. What is it? That tweet. That tweet that I just left. That could be one video by itself because there's a lot of good responses. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys listen to this about heavy security. I watched the whole interview, and at the end, Neil Basu tell a story of when he met Prince Harry. It's well worth watching the full video, and you will see how weak King Charles is and how evil the royal family and the institution is. Oh, I blame Charles as well, but Men in Grey suit, again, it's not written anywhere. I just plug things together. I really think they are holding the institution hostage. And also, let's not forget, Charles, who wanted to marry Camilla, and they did not allow him to marry Camilla. They forced him to marry Princess Diana. And he did not have any love for Princess Diana. So anything that comes from Princess Diana, he doesn't care. He did it for the institution. So let's keep that as well. This is a belief that I have. He doesn't care about the kids because he felt like he just donated his sperm for the institution. His life is in the background with Camilla, the horse. All right, let's listen to this.
Do you think Prince Harry should be on that list, on that protected list?
Yes. So there you go, that's cutting straight to the chase. And I'm not supposed to talk about these things. They did it because they didn't think he would leave. There are plenty of people on the list who don't have a threat and risk profile that would automatically guarantee them armed protection. He was certainly one that did.
I've just had an interesting chat with Neil Basu, Britain's former head of counter-terrorism. We were discussing Prince Harry's security issues, the decision not to give him security. Neil Basu used to sit on RAVEC, which is the Royal and VIP Executive Committee, which makes the decision about whether or not Prince Harry should have security.
It would seem to me that the discretion that could have been used to protect him has been withdrawn. And if you ask me who withdrew it, I can't tell you that for sure because I don't know. But it seems like an odd decision to have made.
Do you have any? I appreciate that you don't know and you weren't sitting in the meetings on this in this particular case, but do you have any suspicions? Was the royal household leaning on? So Prince Harry himself has said that he thinks the king, his father, could have pulled rank and made a decision and had enough influence over the committee that he could probably have swayed them either way. And you've, as somebody, an outsider looking in, when you know that his right-hand man, Sir Clive, is sitting on that committee, it feels like a relatively potentially relevant, likely scenario that Sir Clive could have said, yes, we believe, and my boss believes that his son should have security. But that's obviously not happened in this case. So who's leaning on who here, do you think? Who's influenced this decision?
This is pure speculation, so I was a detective of some standing, so I don't like speculating without evidence. So I don't have evidence for it, but the decision makers are all in that committee. So it will be somebody in the committee who decides. I was still a decision maker at the time that his protection was withdrawn. And as far as I'm aware, the commissioner of the day, Cressida Dick, me as the head of counter-terrorism, we were not asked specifically to withdraw his protection, which only leaves the government and the royal household. And the fact is this: if the Metropolitan Police had been asked to protect the Duke of Sussex by either the head of state, whether it was the Queen at the time, or the future king, we would protect that person. There is nothing whatsoever that would have led us to say, no, I'm sorry, sir or ma'am, we're not doing that. So the reality being is, the decision, and so I've been asked many times, if I think the reality is the Duke of Sussex and the head of state, his father, would probably need to come to some arrangement between them, and I think that reconciliation would be the key to this problem.
And this is why when Harry went to court, he was like, he didn't know some of the people who are at WanK also work at the household, which they should not have been. It should have been completely separate. So to let the professionals do their work, okay, to know what's important and what's not. So they have those people like Clive, whatever that person is. I think it's 2 people that's in the WanK. All right, that's also work for the Royal Household. I was coughing earlier. So they want to make sure, okay, while in both sides, they could control, is the thing here, control what's going on. So they will know where certain people are. For instance, they will probably want to know where Harry and Meghan will be, the counterterrorism, or people who's monitoring other people. So they want eyes and ears of where everything goes. Everybody's going like Harry and Meghan. So Harry and Meghan circle are very tight. You will never know. And Harry knows that. Harry knows that. He knows that. Everybody he keeps near him that's going to do something, they keep their mouth shut. Okay? So they popped up certain places, you get to see them. But certain things that they need to be announced, like for instance in New York now, when they go in New York, they're going to get police protection because it is well known they're going to attend an event, a public event, they will get police protection. And then when he went to court, not only did he saw some people who work in the royal household also work in WanK, and he found out that they literally went out of their jurisdiction trying to tell other government not to protect them.
That's hard to forgive. I actually couldn't believe it. I thought with all the disagreements and all of the chaos that's happening, the one thing that I could rely on is my family keeping me safe. And not only did they decide to remove my security in the UK, but they also signaled to every single government around the world not to protect us.
So you see how insane this is? All right, so next tweet. I wanted you guys to listen to I need to get this recording by itself, because when it's embedded like that in that tweet, it's hard to find. Why did I put this? It's from my last recording, which I lost the file, and I was saying that I bring the discussion about journalists, or I think that was before, where the squad was keeping receipt, where you can't trust journalists. Everyone have to participate in a way of informing other people. If you have a platform and you want a better future, you need to say things that you are aware in a positive way. Document what's going on in your neighborhood. If it's a bad thing that you think people outside of your neighborhood needs to know, you need to document it and tell it like it is. I think I was raising the topic of ways of protest. There's different ways of protesting. If you are one of those people who goes in the street, is that your thing? You go and do your thing. If you are the type where you use your money, you don't shop, you limit some of the things that you used to, you don't buy them anymore, and you kept your money and you spend it wisely, that's another form of protest. You're seeing it happening in the US. Okay? Or you don't watch certain TV shows, that's another sign of protest. There's different ways of protesting. You have to find the one that's best fits you. I'm not the type who goes on the street. Okay? I've said this since I started talking about protesting. I'm not the type who goes on the street. You have a platform. If you could say things that you are aware, you tell the truth, you do it. Because these people, those MAGAs, are trying to rule in a way of fear. They there's a judge that ruled against Trump. What did they do? Burn her house down, or his house down. It takes strength. It takes courage. Harry have said it. So if you want to live in a better future, you want to live in a free world, freedom is not free, because there's some people, your freedom disturb them. They want to see you in pain and need of them. So little at a time, they're doing things under the radar to remove your freedom away from you. They will create a narrative in the US. Their narrative, or the squirrel type of narrative, is using black people as if black people is the problem. Okay? And this is why African Americans stay away from the nonsense that's going on, because majority of African Americans did what they were supposed to do. They went to the voting booth, they vote the best person between the two candidates, they vote for the best one that they see fit. But the MAGAs, the others, they were going based on race, and this is what they got. So African American take a step back and say, this is not our fight right now. We did what we need to do when it matters. That was during the election. So the US used African American as their boogeyman. The UK used immigrant as their boogeyman. Meanwhile, the government is doing things to remove your freedom away from you, whatever freedom you have. And then each and every other countries, that's what they do. They create a boogeyman to distract you, and then at the same time, they're removing your freedom away from you. For Palestine, it's Hamas, and I saw when it started, they stirred the pot when they realized the Palestinian was not gonna do things, retaliate and fight and do all of that. So the Palestinian ignored them, so they create the Hamas kind of thing. Kidnapping during the party and all of that as their boogeyman. And then they flatten the freaking area looking for Hamas. You telling me you're looking for some terrorists and you flatten the entire country? You don't care if there's kids, children, pregnant women, none of that. You flatten it. And then they're killing journalists. The journalists who were telling the truth, they kill them. This is the world that these people want to live in. So do you want to be part of that? For those MAGAs who refuse to see reality, they're using you now. They're using you to do the ICE type of thing to terrorize neighborhood. But at the end of the day, you know what they're going to use against you, MAGAs? They're going to use robot. It already started. Let me go look for that video. All right, so this is it here. So Disney teamed up with Elon Musk AI to bring Tesla robot and AI image generation to the premiere of Tron Ares. It seems this movie's marketing keeps getting worse by the day. But this is what I got from this, all right? Look at this robot right here, moving like a human being. So those MAGAs who think they are tough, terrorizing other minority groups, neighborhood, this is what's waiting for you, okay? While you helping them now to subdue other groups, okay, the weaker groups, they're ready for you guys, the MAGAs, who think you are tough. This is what's waiting for MAGAs, all right? After they subdue or kill off or get rid of other minorities, and then those MAGAs who's helping those rich and powerful, this is what they have that will protect them, those robots. Okay, can those MAGAs fight those robots? Watch. Look how it's moving just like a human being. His feet stabilize. Okay, you fighting with a freaking metal. All right, they program it to go after anybody. All right, this is what the MAGAs gonna have to deal with once they help the billionaire, the Trump type of people, all right, to get rid of the minorities. This is what's waiting for MAGAs. They want to rule you, and MAGA's gonna have to fight with robots, okay? And Bojo have said it in one video where he wanted robots to be their military. All right, look how Trump is destroying the military in the US. They will not need them. They probably already have their things ready, okay, to go disrupt other countries and things like that. That's all I wanted to show you guys. The MAGAs who don't understand, they think they're tough. A few bucks to get rid of few people. This is what's waiting for them. The reason I mentioned some of these topics that I just discussed is because on my original recording, the file that is damaged and I couldn't recover it. I've mentioned some of these topics, so I was trying to recreate what I've said and the damaged, corrupted recording. But pretty much it's when I was reading this tweet regarding O'Donnell, Lawrence O'Donnell, which says this. Shout out to Lawrence O'Donnell for always holding this bum from Queens, which is the current administration that's occupying the White House, his minions in the White House, and Republicans in Congress accountable every night. So he has a cable TV show, which I don't watch anymore because I don't have cable. I cancel my cable. So he's one of the journalists that seems to hold integrity on TV right now, and which is what my comment says here. Him and Rachell, which is Rachel Maddow, sometimes I highlight some of her reporting. Him and Rachel Maddow are the only two that are on TV that seems to have journalistic integrity. That was the only reason I brought up all of these topics, and I was trying to recreate what I've said in the corrupt recording, but here it is. Okay, so let's get back to the original recording and move on to the next tweet. All right, next tweet. I went off completely. Tom Sykes was kicked out of a palace WhatsApp group for saying the king's cancer was incurable, but claims it wasn't a great loss because the group had degenerated into naked propaganda. Everything they deny one by one is confirming. All right. This follows a spat I had with the King's Communication Secretary, Tobin Andrea, after describing King Charles' cancer as incurable. Andrea objected to this on grounds of taste, not accuracy, and kicked me out of the palace's WhatsApp group. It had long since degenerated into naked propaganda, so it was not a huge loss. Laughing my ass off. Surely Tom is still getting updated from others in the chat. No, this makes it clear that William is still his main contact. Alright, there's that, that's true. And did actually give a name and not a source. Well, I'll be damned. A cesspool of scavengers and leeches. So pathetic. His two-headed snake. Alright, so there's all of that. For those who follow these people, lately I've been mentioning Tom Sykes in some tweets, but I don't know him very well. But for the squaddies, who knows, these are information for you. Next tweet. Going through the comment section of Tom Sykes' Substack is so amusing because his fan base is Derangers. Like there isn't a single normal conversation in any of the threads I've ever read. However, this commenter referred to stories that Charles rarely see the Wells kids, and that's likely how it's been since they were born. And Tom says she's right. It's truly said that William betrayed Harry so viciously because Charles doesn't care for either son or any of his grandchildren. And then you have Harry who just about begging Charles to have a relationship with him and his kids, and it's radio silent. So this is the screenshot that she got from that conversation. This is the thing with the squad. This is why I don't need to follow the Derangers and the Royal Rats over there, because the squad who have the mentality to withstand their stupidity will bring the juicy thing on my timeline if you follow the correct squad. So this is what she got from the conversation. I suspect Charles rarely sees them outside of formal event, and that's probably been the case since they were born. You are right. There's a Tom Sykes response. You are right. You see the picture when Harry and Meghan were in the UK, and they took that picture. They were sitting on a bench, and Charles held one of the kids. I think it was the firstborn of William. You see how weird he looked holding that child? Charles never hold any kids, okay? And then for Harry doing some of the things that he's doing, it's for record purposes, okay? So when he does gone, or if his kids say, how come you didn't make me meet my grandparents or something like that? Harry's doing everything in his power for the sake of his kids, but at the same time, at the safety of his family, all right? Which is why it boggles my mind that there's an expectation that grandpa is entitled to see grandchildren he has not invested in. I mean, even Elizabeth was around her grandkids way more than Charles is. There are so many photos of Elizabeth holding Harry's hand when he was a babe. You will never find photos like that of Charles with the Wells kids. Charles has not put in work to have a family and the sense of relationship bond with his blood kids. Diana would have been the one to do that, but she passed. They took her away from them so they could tormented the kids and turn William to what he is now. He seemed to be closer to Cam's kids than any of his own kids or blood relative. I'm gonna stop here. Not stop, but I'm not gonna read anymore. But I have something to say about that. Okay, about Charles. Charles, okay, wanted to marry Camilla. If they had let him marry Camilla, the kids that he would have produced with Camilla, he would be fine with it. But they forced him to marry Diana.
He clearly didn't want to be there. And it's easy to sit here now and say that's the fact. But when you were watching it, you know, it's like you could see his mum's boot print on the back of his jacket.
Are you in love? Lovely little question. Very typical question to ask people who've just got engaged.
And I suppose in love.
Of course.
Whatever in love means.
Yes. Diana said, oh, yes, of course, you know, through her eyelashes. Prince Charles said, oh, well, whatever love means. You know, alarm bells, woot, woot, woot.
It's always a winner, that line. It always works. If a woman ever says, oh, I love you, just say back, I know, darling, I love you too. Whatever that means. But mutter it, don't say it.
In February 1981, Charles and Diana came out to announce their engagement to the world.
Just delighted and unhappy.
No one knew it at the time, but the first interview they gave as a couple was an ominous sign of things to come.
I'm amazed that she's been brave enough to take me on. And I suppose in love.
Of course.
Whatever in love means.
I was brought up in the sense that, you know, when you got engaged with someone, you loved them. And the most extraordinary thing is we had this ghastly interview the day we announced our engagement, and this ridiculous ITN man said, are you in love? So I thought, what a thick question. So I said, yes, of course we are, in the sort of fat, stern ranger that I was. And Charles turned around and said, what ever in love means. And that threw me completely. I thought, what a strange question.
What strange reply.
God, it was to traumatise me.
It's a pivotal moment.
So anything that come from Diana, William, Harry, he doesn't care. All right? It was like a donation to the institution. Give it his sperm for the firm. And he's done. After the kids were born, he was done with the firm. And he's been living his life the best way he knows how. All right? But that's that. And the worst thing is they took the kid's mother away from them. Next tweet. And this is why they don't want security for Harry. All right? They want the same thing that happened to Diana to do the same, because they have their minions, their foot soldiers to do the work for them. All right, next tweet. There's the laugh here. Reactive Billy fell again to get attention. Prince Harry's sibling, there's that. All William Poggreball's wishes for now is to get some of the attention Duchess Meghan is getting. Poor him. Hastily arranged visit when Doctor Who wasn't even being filmed. Wasting people's time. I covered that already, but the video is messed up. So it seems like he went to that Doctor Who thing, maybe a last minute thing to get some attention, but it make no noise. This is what Martin is talking about. 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Morning friends, happy Tuesday, how are you doing? Well, it's a good job that Hello Magazine and Hello Digital covered Prince William's visit to Wales, part of the UK, to see the film set inside a warehouse of Doctor Who. Obviously, they wouldn't let him anywhere near the real TARDIS. He's in the fake TARDIS that they use for TV filming scenes. And why is it a good idea? Why is it good that Hello Magazine covered it? Well, to be honest, if Hello Magazine wouldn't have covered it, no one would have known. And that's how much William and Kate have dropped off the press radar in the last 3 years, I would say.
And if Martin then covered, I don't think other people would have known. Okay? So, because majority of people don't pay too much attention to them. And is it OK Magazine is a US base? Let me look it up while this is being played.
Literally, the Daily Mail put it in the royal section. It wasn't even in the mainstream news section. It was an unannounced, very quickly arranged, probably because of Meghan's activity in Paris, visit to the studios. There's no pictures of him meeting the cast. I don't think they were actually filming on that day, which just shows how hastily this visit was arranged, right? Why would you go on a day where they're not actually doing any filming. It just doesn't make sense at all. This was probably the best shot that anyone could get of him. Lazy, entitled, and reactive. They only come out to do work at the last moment, and they magically appear at places that were never in the diary, because that's how hastily the visits are literally arranged.
When Harry was scheduled to go to the UK, I remember one squatty, I have it in one video, whichever video that I covered it. One squatty went to look at the royal family schedule because she did predict that. She said as soon as Harry is out there, you're gonna see the royals come out. And she went in their diary, I guess it was made public, it was black. Alright? So this is another version of that as well.
They come out to do work when they're being outshone by other members of the public or other members of their family. That is all. Comments are open as ever. Have a brilliant Tuesday.
Okay, so while it was playing, I did search it. What I meant to say when I was saying is OK Magazine, if it was a US, and I think I said UK, but I was thinking US, but apparently it's a UK base. Okay, no. Okay, this is my question that I type on Google. Is OK Magazine a US company? No. OK Magazine parent company is not American. The publication was originally launched in the UK in 1993 by British businessman Richard Desmond, Northern and Shell. Okay, so there's that. The answer is no. It's a UK. All right. I say UK, but I meant to say US. But apparently, it's a UK base. All right. So if Martin then mention it, I would not know. And if I then stumble on his video, because I'm not on TikTok, I would not know. William should have, could have, if he chose to hate her because she was better than what he was married to, he wanted to sabotage that girl and Harry. How dare Harry getting a hot chick like Meghan, talent and money. I think people are just tired of William and Kate BS. You've no chance, Willie. You've as much personality as Meghan's wee finger. You are a fraud and a waster. So sorry. You like the people who torture your mom and cause her death. You could have been anything else. One revenge Diana did get. She never passed any. William needs to give it up. We don't care about him. Stay home, take care of your family, or get a real job. If he had kept the pact, the agreement he made with Harry, I'm going to the next tweet. Okay, to not deal with the tabloid. Can you imagine how powerful both of them would have been? All right, but he chose his side and then stick with the people. But he's done so many bad things. I don't know. He will have to give every freaking people in the UK who's struggling a place to live for free. For those people to really embrace him. He probably will still get some people with his BS. But the majority of people, he's done enough damages. And people had loved his mom. But he didn't see that. Prince William and Kate Forest Lodge move continues to outrage locals. Some of these residents are resentful of the newly imposed restrict access around the Whalers' new home. They actually sound as if they believe that the royals care. Poor sods. Right? What's the media for? Is it one for every house he's bought? I know this is a wild hair of an idea, but why can't they live in a wing of Windsor Castle? Charles is hardly ever there. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know why the timeline can be all lovely, sunny, fresh, and lively with Prince Harry and Meghan, then suddenly pics of this pair appear and a dark nimbus cloud seems to envelope everything. Then depression ensues. I'm telling you, yes, these people, they bring sadness. If you have happiness, you enjoy, the moment they open their mouth is sadness. Can he seize 150 hectares of land just like that? No wonder they are cross. They don't care who's upset. All they care about is themselves. That is true. I feel bad for the locals. Willie is a selfish, greedy man, and he is only going to get worse when he becomes king. What was it? There's a video that I have. I don't know where he was walking. And there seemed to be someone, the person had his camera, who was walking by, and then William lashed out, claiming that he's following them and whatever. But if it's a public place, and the guy happened to be there, I will assume why he will want to record, because this is someone you don't see all the time. But he lashed out on the guy.
You can have this altercation. I know. I just realised who it was, and I've just.
You didn't. You were out here looking for us. Don't.
I was actually. No, I didn't. I haven't been near the house. I've not been. I promise you, I've not been near your house. I'm not going to lie.
Yes, you are. How dare you behave like you've done my children? How
I
dare
have
you?
I have not
You
done
are stalking
anything.
around here looking for us and our children. I went for a quiet bike ride with my children on
That's fine.
Saturday,
That's fine.
and you won't even give me your name. You're outrageous. You're disgusting. You really are. You can have this altercation.
Instead of ride his bike, go alone if you want to get away from the guy. But no. There's that. These parasites are greedy and selfish. They don't have any regard for the lesser mortals. All right. I don't know. The UK needs to do something. All right. Next tweet, and this is my last one. I'm recording this video twice. The first one, I lost the file. Right, you guys, we are living in an unserious time. Even with the Duchess and Mr. Piopello's previous collaboration, her choice of Balenciaga could be perceived as a snub to the UK. Let's pause that. We don't mean this. How can you be snubbed by someone you told to leave?
If you want to be private, go back to America and live privately. It's pretty straightforward.
Harry and Meghan left. Right, UK fashion houses are gathered in a cobweb. Victoria Beckham has yet to make her mark, and she is close to retirement. Then, when Meghan went to the UK, before they closed out everything, they did 3 events where she wore the blue dress, and then the final one was the red dress. The cape, the green one, was the first one, and then Victoria Beckham, the blue, and then the red was in the night. For the army, whatever it was, Royal Air Force or something like that. So the blue dress that Meghan wore, I believe it was Victoria Beckham. It made some noise. But then again, you see what happened with the husband, you know, kissing ass, whatever. They get what they deserve. They seem to not, many of these people seems to not see the light. They will bang their head over and over again, and they expect different result. There's Meghan here. She was invited to show, and then that's all we're talking about. All right. Okay. I read that. Make her mark, and she is close to retirement. The few designers left must be throwing plates around their kitchen, knowing they are stuck with a cardboard cutout princess struggling to promote their brand. Alright, so there's that. LOL. I mean, hey, Kate could always go to the fashion show for Sarah Burton, who now works for Givenchy. LOL. There's me here. Salty Island needs some serious therapy. They can't be serious. I was responding to the caption. Where is the crap quote coming from? Secretly? I hope it's true. Oh my God. Look at this. Who's gonna wear this nonsense? Well, some people will. This is something that future queen can get behind. British Alexander McQueen, y'all. Right up Kitty's alley. Okay, after this, that's it. Let me read bottom up. This one here. And there is a queen and a future queen right here in the UK. They're the one who should be promoting British fashion. Meghan is a private citizen who was hounded out of the UK. There is no snub, perceived or otherwise. That is true. Well-minded people see that, but the others, nah. I don't think they will see Meghan until Charles die, or maybe not. She might not come at all. I think she's done. And then there's William. Unless William go to, I don't know. This is classic. Girl live abused relationship, and as she is leaving, the guy is screaming, "You're nothing without me." The guy now unhappy, lives with regret, and does whatever he can do to sabotage her life in the hope that she'll come back. We all know how that ends. There's that. Alright, LOL. Let's pause that. That's the GIF. LOL. She snubbed them many times before. Her children are American with American accent. Own no properties in the UK. She can only recall a radio station fondly for time spent there. Made no effort to have as every product available there. She declined their citizenship. Yeah, that thing where they were trying to speed process her citizenship. She was like, nah, I'll stay online. And it's good that she never got to it, because there's that. You see what happened. And then they probably would have used that against her as well, saying, oh my God, I'm showing this. Let me move out of there. There's that. And they would have used that against her. So I'm done. I record this twice, and hopefully this this video is good. So please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. And the prayer for this video: let there be peace on earth, and may the foot soldiers acknowledge what those MAGA head business people, those rich and powerful, are making them do, because they are foot soldiers for them, because eventually those business people already have their armies prepared. It's those robots. Do I still have it open? Okay, I don't have it open anymore. Okay, it's those robots they have ready to protect them. Can those MAGAs fight those robots? Once they program the robots to do things, can you fight a metal or whatever they're gonna build those robots for? And this is what I be saying. People with the brain are spending time develop things and use their brain to do things, and then meanwhile those power hungry people sitting right back watching, and then as soon as the smart people finish the product, and those business people come in and snoop them and turn it into a negative. All right, so this is what we need, this is what we are looking forward to, because those business people already have their step 1 or phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. All right, they get the Spanish people, the immigrants out. They claim, okay, their boogeyman was that illegals and all of that. Got them out. And let's not forget, Venezuela was part of this. I've been talking about it. Sending immigrants, flooding the U.S. border with immigrants. So, because this is what Trump narrative was when he was running for office. And they're saying there's like a war going on in the borders, and you have those MAGAs going in the borders. They didn't see anything. And still, that didn't click to these people. It didn't click to them. I think I mentioned in one of my old videos. All right, they went to the borders after the headline was saying there's like a war. The border was like a war zone. MAGAs drove miles away to go to the southern border, Mexico-U.S. border. They didn't see anything. And still, that didn't click. And then we had where politicians who meant to do well create a law, I forgot what the name of the law is, to put some sort of a sensible kind of thing going on to fund the border patrol. All right, Trump said no, because that was his narrative to go by, because this is what he wanted to do. And then you have Venezuela helping him, sending immigrants to the border. And then now he's in office, pretty much freeze all to get the people's money and doing all this crazy stuff. And then you have ICE. Now they're at the stage where they're going to neighborhood, terrorize people, even if you're American. All right, so once that is done, okay, and that's leading to the midterm election as well, scaring people to not go and vote. The more people they hold in a cage, you don't have, you can't go out and vote, because they're actually holding citizen, people who could vote. This is what matters. Citizen who can actually vote, make a difference. They're going after them now. Put them in prison or in cage, whatever it is, and they're going to hold them until the midterm election. And then so they could hold on to power. And now once they get power, they're going to go full blown. And now those MAGAs who's helping Trump, at the end of the day, they're going to end up with robots. Robots is going to control them, the MAGAs. If the MAGAs don't do what Trump says, and then they have the robots waiting for them. Okay? Once they program them and go after certain people, all right, this is the thing those MAGAs need to think. All right, so I'm done. Okay? Please, thank you for watching.
Tanaka. It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life.